to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning all.
Morning.
Kent hasn't lost his Iowa flavor, he's got his hat and coat on.
Oh,
And we will not give him...
there's a Hawkeye fan there, too.
I'm not gonna say
Don't
it.
love him.
Hawkeye fashion, he shows up to the game late.
There you go. Look for a motion to approve.
I move we approve the agenda as printed.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Minutes from 10:29.
Motion to approve minutes from 10:29.
We have a motion
I'll second.
and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Ooh.
Motion. Motion carried. General public concerns? None? Is there a Travis in the house?
There is. Alright, so I've already passed out before the start of the meeting, I knew Cat would like one. There's one for you. Alright, so what we have, that the city's requesting is the highlighted parcel on there. It's labeled as 13th Avenue South and was platted as such in the early 70s. However, the development agreement with the Mogulstad said the city would accept it once it met our minimum standards, which at the time did and currently does include, must be either asphalt or concrete. Well, they never did that, and so it still retains ownership in the Mogulstad name until the city just recently acquired it less than 3 weeks ago. There are at least 3 properties that are affected by this, where they actually should not be able to pull a building permit because they don't have any legal street frontage. They have no public access to these homes, because the street was currently held in Mogulstad's name. So since it was platted as a street, it never should have, but it was still held in the Mogulstad's name, so that's why it kept accruing taxes. Had it been a public street, the city doesn't pay taxes on publicly owned streets. So what we're here to ask, there was a drainage assessment on it, which the Mogulstad did pay, and that was part of the sale, is we're asking that the taxes and the penalties associated with it be waived so that the city can accept it as a public street. And I think, not to speak for Jenna, but I think she'd want to get rid of that file because it's quite lengthy.
What kind of money is the forgiveness?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If it's just taxes, it's $30 a year, because it's tax ag rate. However, it hasn't been paid in 13 years.
Oh, more than that, 1990s.
Yeah, so,
Trying
there's
to
a
see
lot
what kind
of
of leverage
fees,
we have over the
plus
city
fines
here.
and fees.
Yeah, don't you think they should pay something? So, in essence, should this have been classified as a city street way back when?
Yes and no. Yes, it's a public street, but the city didn't accept it because it was never paved.
The developers didn't bring it up to code.
Right.
Correct. So since it was still held privately in the Mogulstad's name, technically, yes, it should have continued to accumulate taxes, and the Mogulstad should have paid it.
Right.
They never did, because what are they out if they lose the street portion of their development? Nothing.
We're talking less than
Well,
$500 total.
technically, you could lose access to your house.
That's not their houses.
It's not their houses.
They were all developed and everything, and so,
Okay.
yep. So they weren't out anything.
I'm just curious how it got on this long. I mean, I know there's...
Well,
Just
someone
down
at the
the
West
back
River
corner.
Drive.
Yeah. The only reason it came to our light was an individual living on this tried to pull a building permit. We had to deny it because they have no public frontage.
But it's not a public street.
It's not a public street,
It's a privately owned street.
correct?
With the penalty and everything, we're not talking $500 total.
No, you're
Penalty
talking,
are
Oh,
with the
yeah.
penalty, you're talking like
$30 a year?
I think.
quite a bit.
It's a lot of years, though.
Yeah,
Over-
because it's year after year after year.
More than
About-
13
It's
years?
about $3,000, if I
Okay.
remember correctly.
quickly.
What's the treasurer have to say about it?
I'm glad to let the city have it. They paid $800 and some in drainage, the Mockles did, so,
They did.
How many years we got to talk about?
since the 90s.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, it's developed before that, but it's been a tax sale
All right.
since the 90s.
Well, I'll make a motion to forgive the taxes on the parcel to the city of Humboldt.
I'd second the
Just
motion.
taxes, they were asking for penalties.
And penalties.
And penalties, excuse me.
I'd second
and
Rick's
penalties.
motion.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Nope.
Clean up the works.
I already have my
Okay, and just a
discussion.
question, before you go too much further. They said that the taxes were paid, but the...
No,
Drainage.
Drainage.
Just the drainage, okay.
Well, I do have a question then. So drainage taxes are, is this a drainage district that they're paying on? The city assume paying that then?
It's already been paid.
In the future.
Oh, in
that
the
would
future,
be,
yes.
If there's any.
Well, I mean, that's, they take responsibility from here on out and
Correct.
all that fun stuff, so.
I think we gotta clean up these things once in a while, I think. it's a good
I'd like to
motion.
see it done sooner than later, so.
Property owners would like to get their building permit approved.
Right?
Yeah.
Just a question, what's the city gonna do with the street? Leave it as is or pave it?
We'll leave it as is until the adjacent property. Very similar to Hall Street, if you're familiar. It was approved as a city street like this, and unless all the adjacent properties say, you know what, we'll pay to have it brought up to city specifications, then we'll do an assessment back on, and bring it up to code. But otherwise, it'll stay a minimum maintenance, what we call a minimum maintenance road.
But it will be minimally maintained by the city?
Correct. And we have been, honestly. We're not gonna leave these people snowed in, so
Right.
we do plow it.
Right.
You know, the adjacent properties, if they want gravel, they pay for the gravel, but we bring it in, we lay it down, so. It'll meet all our requirements for minimum maintenance.
Okay, sounds good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same
Yep.
sign. Motion carried.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Travis.
You're fine. I printed off enough to make sure I got you.
Thanks,
that
Travis.
one, and Thank you.
Okay, it's 8:38, so we can open, or go to our public hearing on the county budget amendment for FY 18-19.
All right, I'll move, we open the public hearing for budget amendment.
We have a
Second.
motion and a second to open the public hearing at 8:38. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Discussion. This is, I guess, your part then.
Yeah. There are only, let's see if I wanna give these to the press here so they can have. Here, there we go. There's very few things we're amending at this time. Under public safety and legal services, which is line 18, we're amending that by 23,000. That's to cover the books we decided to buy for the law library that we didn't put in the budget, for this year. Under roads and transportation, which is on line 22, we amended that to include bridge inspection, asphalt patching, crack filling, equipment, and drainage assessments. And if you have any questions on that, you can ask Ben. And under line 27, which is capital projects, it was amended to include carryover construction projects. And those are the only three things to be amended at this time.
This carries to the end of the year?
Don't know.
Don't know.
Don't know, might have to amend it again. But it does reduce your cash balance.
Mhm.
We're not levying more taxes or anything, we're just reducing what we have on hand.
I'd move we close public hearing.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second to close public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
8:40. You got the name?
I know there's probably not anybody in the public who has any comments, but you were supposed to ask for public
Oh.
comment.
Oh, I'm
sorry.
sorry. Is there any public comment? None.
Okay.
Now we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. Now we need to...
Make a motion to approve Resolution 2018-20.
We have a motion.
I'd second the motion.
And a second. All Alright.
And that resolution is just the budget amendment itself, in resolution form.
Is that right, 2018-20?
Yep,
Okay,
at 20 so far this year.
okay. Any other discussion?
Just one quick mention, that part of the reason for the resolution was what Peggy just mentioned, the cost of the published hard copy law information. Remind you again that we had the discussion way back at the budget timing for this year. That's why we didn't put any money in there. Now we're putting money back in there for the publications, and hopefully we discuss down the road, we move to the electronic version and save ourselves some money. Part of this money is for that, so.
That was another reason why we updated their computer.
Right, so we're on the right track of hopefully, not having a budget amendment next year for this anyway, and we can have that discussion at budget time, so. Just wanted to bring that up, so don't forget about it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Boy, our chairman's really on the ball this morning, only 2 minutes late.
We're on the
And I
tight
forgot to
ship.
ask for public input.
We've been right on time,
I'm
isn't
glad
it?
there was a barrier between it, she was gonna kick me. I stumbled through it, Peggy, I'm sorry.
No, that's great, you're doing great.
Okay, now, who's this next person that wants to talk? A couple of people. Jana and Jan?
We got 2 chairs for him up here.
Oh, you gotta put them both in the hot seat.
Really? Let's pass those along. We've done some research, since we're self-appointed wellness committee chairs.
That's all right.
And I bet you nobody's been fighting you for that position either, have they?
They told me that, and I said, oh, okay.
Jana volunteered you, so she didn't have to do it by herself.
She did.
Thanks for doing it, though.
We have made some contacts with the Humboldt Rec Center on the possibility of promoting wellness in our county and asking the board to help maybe with half the cost of a single full-time employee membership. So there they show that single membership for monthly rate is $40, so we're talking $20 a person, full-time person for those that are interested in being a member of the Humboldt Rec Center. I included the hours of the center and some of our ideas on how this could fall into place.
Will that be monitored by the check-in?
Yes, you have to have you get a
Yeah, you
ID and a badge,
Probably a badge.
or
ID card
something.
type thing, and you scan it.
Ours is only $15.
Yeah, senior citizens, which is considered
Oh,
65 years.
if they don't check
55
in so
years?
many hours a week or a month, we don't pay anymore, right?
It'll be too late.
No.
Correct. Too late.
You know, and that in itself, lets people go. I've
You
been
bet.
involved in a program where if I waste my money, I don't care, but hey, if someone's paying, I
Right.
make darn sure
You
I'm
bet.
going, so that's a good incentive.
Good
Yeah, I
idea.
know from your 6 times a month, I like that, because you really get any benefit out of any of it. That's
Or
not-
being
that's
kind
not-
of minimal.
So, my question is this just for the employees or the
Yeah.
employees' family?
Well, we're just proposing that just full-time
Well, that's
employees,
why.
but I don't, let
I
that
think
be your
that's,
decision.
I think that's fair, because what Al's checked it, I know you did, what was the monthly on the membership for a single person? What-
It's
On the back.
$40,
Oh, I'm on the wrong page.
and then
40, so you're proposing half of that.
25.
So if an employee elected to have a family, they basically are gonna get $20 towards their $50
Yes,
family
correct.
membership, which I think is fair.
I do too.
I mean, I think it's based on the single is a good way to do it, because they...
Yeah, 'cause some people don't have families and...
Yep.
Yeah,
If they just wanna go
yeah.
themselves and take advantage of it, that's great, and if they wanna sign up as a family membership, they still get their $20.
We're proposing there that they pay in advance, so that first month, they might have to pay out-of-pocket payment, and that the county send one payment and deduct it from wages, so that we're joining in, say, January, by 1st of January, everybody has to contribute their $20, so that it's paid before January 1st, and then payroll deduction would come out and pay it at the end of January for February, and it's a monthly, you can stop at any time, they don't make you pay, they don't give you a break for an annual rate yet. Oh, no, I take that back, I did check with that, and there was a 5%
It's 5%
for,
for annual pay.
I didn't think we wanted to go that far, that's a lot.
This should make our insurance carrier very happy. Eventually, you might have reduced premium there.
Well, that's what we talked about it at one time. that
Yeah,
we
they
got-
don't give you any break for having a wellness program, but they said the benefits of having a wellness
Show
program
up.
will show up. So,
Is there a benefit if you blanket like all Humboldt County employees, like say, well,
They're not giving group rates yet. They, something they do down the road, but yeah.
you know, if we've got 150 employees between law enforcement and
Sure.
secondary roads and everybody in the courthouse, you know.
Yeah,
Group
see,
rate like they do the
it's-
hospital.
No, currently no group rates, so.
That may come if there's more pressure to offer it. 'Cause I think the rec center does that, and I'm assuming they've had success with it.
They pretty much kept their rates the same the old racquetball club did, even less maybe.
I don't know.
I'm a member, but I can't remember, I pay by the year, so,
We paid $365 a year, I think,
yeah.
for senior citizens, for a family. Don't laugh, Brian.
So we weren't
That's
sure.
like $30, $29.58 a
Yeah,
month.
okay.
So it's
Good deal for
Well, I
everybody.
think in what I saw on Facebook anyway, the facility is quite a bit larger than the other
Right.
facility.
oh, Lord.
The
Oh, yeah.
equipment's gonna be state of the art, you know.
You get enough exercise just walking from one side to the other.
That's not a bad idea.
I know.
And they have the track and they have the...
300 meter
yeah.
track with 60
Yeah.
meter straightaways. So.
I think it's a very good investment. I mean, obviously you do have, I like the fact that you have a usage tied to it, because if they say, oh, well, this is great, and they go once a month, they aren't gonna get it.
You know, Jana and I feel that having a county wellness program will be a great way to boost employee morale and engagement while we kind of have fun together. And I'd like to see us kind of throw out some monthly challenges just to say, okay, this month we're going to drink half our body weight in ounces in the water, you know, and you kind of say, hey, I'm doing it, are you going to do it, and kind of have some fun with it. You know, when you look online and, you know, even ISAC's program, there's just tons of ideas on, how to do it and have fun.
So if the county's willing to have a wellness committee and projects like that, we're also thinking we'd like to have the Humboldt Public Health nurses come back and we do lunch and learn. I emailed Julie Whiter, but I haven't heard back as to what the cost is to do that, so I don't have a rate for you there, but we were thinking of having like quarterly or every other month a soup or salad or some sort of luncheon to promote the wellness ideas that we're engaging each month. And
I thank you guys, we've been talking about this for years, this is the first time we had anything happen. I think it's a great idea.
Last time we came, you guys all nodded your heads.
Nothing happened.
Well, I say get it going, and I like the idea, because what Diane said, of the camaraderie or the challenging,
Yeah.
and then maybe the lunch thing goes along with that, where you can have the lunch and discuss, well, this is this month's challenge, or whatever you wanna say, a goal, and we're gonna do this or that, you know, sometimes they have a group weight loss even.
that was the other thing the public health nurse did, was that Mission Slim Possible from January to March. It might be fun as a county to participate in that.
The Twin River Valley School won it last time, and that's a small group, so it's, yeah, I heard, but I can't remember how they did it, because, like, how could they beat High Cap or the hospital, but they did.
Yeah,
The percentage.
there's a formula.
Yeah, it had to do with percentage.
But
High
if
cap.
you look at, if you drove by High Cap all that year with their little track out there, it's amazing to see how many times
People
you drive
walking.
by there, people on their break would be out doing their laps to...
I think they pay full membership, don't they? I cap.
They
Used to anyway.
Yeah, they, I don't know if they still do, I didn't call them.
So do we have any, I don't even wanna look at some,
Well, we were hoping that the self-funding
It's
money
self-funding, we
would
have
be used.
fairly good balance in
we
that.
have a, but to me, I think it's a win-win if we promote it, and it's hard to not see that building up there and think that you aren't gonna use it to,
It's good timing with
The
that.
timing is
Coming right
excellent,
now.
the timing is excellent.
Hopefully it's self-funding, you say we keep going too, we get healthier.
Exactly. That'd be the goal.
Yeah.
Is there a minimum number of times that you have to show up?
6.
We were
6 times a
proposing
month.
6 a month.
and I think with the hours, they're making it convenient to.
Yeah, the hours are
5
pretty
to
wide
9.
for it.
And they say up there that you open 16 hours a day, so we could catch anybody before or after work.
Yeah.
And the classes that they're proposing are quite a range, from yoga to kettlebell to
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff.
CrossFit,
class.
yeah.
But just the facility, if you, without any extra class, is phenomenal. Like Rick said, you get a lot of exercises
Just
walking.
walking around looking at it.
Then walk around, look at it again, and you got a pretty good workout.
Yeah.
Were you out of breath?
No.
So that's a good, really good deal, and, you know, an ounce of prevention's worth a pound of cure, and if we can prevent things, and the insurance premium reflects it, we could actually net gain on
Yeah.
this.
Keep your employees healthier, we'll be much better off.
So.
We don't have anything to prove, but I'd say
We don't have anything to
we
approve, but we can.
definitely move
At least
forward.
tell,
Thank you very much for taking a look.
Yes.
give Peggy some direction in a week or so if you wanna.
We'll
Do you
have
want
to
me to get a hold of, not forget their name, darn it, Denise,
Denise?
and make sure that this is something that they can do for us?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would think it would be,
Yeah.
but,
I would recommend that, if
Yeah,
Denise
talk to
give
her
us
about
any.
that.
Okay.
See if we can pull out our self-funding.
Absolutely.
Bring it
We're
back.
looking at some of the lunch and learn things too, or
Yeah.
just the...
Anytime I don't have to make my own lunch, I'm in.
And anytime you can teach them something, it's even better.
Yeah.
So the learning
That's
part.
my wife. I think it'd be.
Absolutely.
Thank you. We'll wait to hear back from Peggy then, and then get a sign up, or get your information out to the employees, and...
Well, we've had, Denise has been here and the insurance side of things, and I, you know, like to think a little bit of the discussion has been towards some of the wellness, so I'd say, yeah, absolutely, contact her and think that this, I'd rather take self-funding money to promote health than take self-funded money to have to pay for, you know, issues that people are having.
Yeah.
Makes a lot more sense.
You guys be so healthy, I won't even know you want to come back much.
That would be the goal.
We appreciate all you've done, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And you're gonna keep that co-chair person title?
Sure.
I would.
There you go.
We need
See?
somebody to push it along.
You guys are the best, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
It's a great move.
It is. Okay, Ben. Man, he's
Ben lots?
On time. Close.
You must be coming in asking for something, you're all...
That's
all
decked up. Looks like, who's the owner of the Patriots?
Mr. Crab.
You've been, you're a big Patriots fan, you got his, shirt on.
Yeah, oh, really?
That's the type of shirt he wears, right there. Can't hurt.
Need a Patriots tie and then some sneakers on.
The butt.
Cut off sleeve.
Probably not.
No, we're not talking belts.
Yeah.
No, we're like, you just keep going for the Robert Kraft look.
The checkbook that he has would be a lot nicer.
Right.
Most of us.
Yeah. Wouldn't have to worry about it. A couple things on the agenda for today. Going with the earlier approved resolution is to approve the Humboldt County fiscal year 2019 Iowa DOT secondary road budget amended number 1. Like Peggy said, this basically pulls in a little bit more money for bridge inspection, some asphalt patching and crack filling that we've got going right now. Equipment carryover, our 3 dump trucks should be arriving, I would think, in the next couple of weeks. was told the first one should be done last Friday, with the last two, getting worked on now. Drainage district assessments, we knew those were coming. They've been, a year or two in the making. I think we've paid, right around $135,000 so far this year in drainage assessments. And we've still got the two projects that King's working on and, Gerke. So, we've still got additional assessments to come that'll probably happen in this fiscal year, so this is to cover the additional. And then, construction carryover that, didn't get completed by the end of June.
Okay, so with that, we're looking for a motion to approve the 2019 Iowa DOT secondary road amendment, budget amendment number 1.
I'd so move.
We have a motion
I'll say, go ahead, Rick.
I'll second the motion.
and a second. Any other discussion?
It's a way of doing business, we have to do this every year.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried.
The next item on the agenda is to approve an application to work in the county right-of-way to Midland Power to bore under 150th Street to,
Do you want it dated as,
today is fine.
okay? I'm sorry.
This was to bore an electrical line underneath 150th Street to, Dallas Clark's shed. I called and talked to Chad last Friday, 'cause I went out to review this, and they'd already done the work.
Okay.
So, Chad apologized, because it's not usually the way that they run
Oh,
things.
typically they don't.
No, we usually get it ahead of time.
Yeah, they had, Cran from Livermore lined up last Wednesday or Thursday, and, he was gone at meetings, and apparently there was some disconnect between him and the guys that were doing the work, but, yeah, the work's already been done.
Well, I can understand the disc. But you went out and looked at it?
Yes.
There was no issue?
No. It's fine, they just removed an overhead line and put underground in.
And that's always nice, actually.
Yeah, one less thing for our boxes to catch.
Or anything else fall down, yep.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve that, work in the county right away for Midland Power.
We have a motion
Second that.
and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Third on the agenda is the application to work in the county right-of-way that we talked about last week. This was to install a private tile crossing for Larry Minikis, down southeast of Thor, for Luft and Sons Construction.
And this phone call was made prior to
Prior to them doing any
doing
work.
any
Yeah.
work. He called and we visited about it, and they'd already been down and looked everything over. So-
Yeah, we were down, we looked at it with, Luft and Sons, as well as the other contractor that was doing, tiling work for Opines, and the utilities were out there as well, so.
So they went with an 8-inch concrete pipe through, or they go 12?
They had 8-inch private, but then 12-inch concrete under the road.
That's Hans' question.
Yep.
Okay. So it's- All right.
So, look for a motion.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Last item on the agenda is, approve pay voucher number 1 to Rognus Brothers for project LC 372105 for $119,921.59. This is the bulk payment for the box culvert job that they did north of Hardy. They have moved on, they are now south of Thor working on P-66. They got the asphalt torn up on that one, and they should be removing the culvert today and tomorrow.
That's everything but the retainage, right?
This is everything but the retainage, and the riprap, because we didn't have the tickets for how much riprap.
Yeah, rip wrapping's done though.
Yes.
Is it, this complete outside of the surface? The,
Outside of surfacing, yes, that one is done.
you mentioned something on this, they found an old culvert thing, did they just get rid of that then, so?
Yeah, we found the culvert that was supposed to get removed in the 1960s,
Right.
laying right next to the one that we removed, so.
Yep, that was one of your updates a couple weeks ago, and they did remove it, and so everything's basically done.
Everything's done on
I
that.
stopped by there, and the guys was out picking up any little rocks and pieces of garbage that he was cleaning up. Place looked really nice.
They did a very good job
They
as
did,
far as
the depth
cleaning up.
looked real good.
And now, surfacing on that next year.
We're paving that project next year from Hardy North, so we're just going to mill down deeper through there and pour 8 inches of concrete with reinforcement.
Excellent. Excellent.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve, voucher number 1 to Rognus Brothers for project LC 372105 with an amount of $119,921.59.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? My only would, what's that rate for the retainage on that?
We've got to pay for the riprap, which is roughly $2,500, and the retainage is another $3,000, $4,000.
3708.
$3,708.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carried.
And then just to update you guys, we are actually getting PCA to move in east of Livermore. Called and confirmed that this morning. They're supposed to have the equipment start showing up around 10 o'clock this morning.
Technically, that's west of Livermore.
I'm sorry, west of
If
Livermore.
they don't tear anything up over there, we don't need it.
West.
They are still planning on moving in today.
Yes, yep. Tom is closing the road right now, actually.
Okay.
So we will, get
You better
them
just
in.
keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah, I called and talked to the foreman of the job this morning, and he said that they are still a go, so.
All right.
Which road in Livermore is that?
C-20,
Is it the main road?
the
Yeah.
main road that
Main
goes into
blacktop.
So
Livermore.
people heading to the polls will not be able to use that?
They will
road
have to
tomorrow?
use the official detour.
Okay.
Which is,
Go down south to C-26, east to County K, and then back north to Livermore. All of the locals, though, will
Yeah.
just take the gravel down,
Locals probably know that.
yeah.
As luck would have it, because of the jurisdiction of the precincts, it's not gonna affect too many people.
Okay.
Where
So
we,
you've got everybody
that
around the
is right
country
down below the hill
coming.
from us, we voted both.
Okay.
Oh, you guys go to,
Because Delana Township ends at that road.
right at that,
116, or the...
Is it Montana?
Montana.
Travel there,
Yeah.
go on
That's-
the east side of the bridge.
Yes.
Oh.
So, you know,
they
not
don't
saying
let you
one,
into town?
what's that?
They don't let you into town? They make
No,
you-
now I think they requested that, to make it tougher for them to get here, like I see them, but, so that, voting wise, because that's, like I said, that's right there, we go to vote, because Delana Township is associated with voting in Bode, so. Probably won't, no one should be able to use that as much of an excuse to get to the polls,
But you've got all of Humboldt Township coming in that way to vote.
but Humboldt Township is on the east side of
east
that,
side.
Oh, yeah, that's right,
so.
yeah.
You know, not saying it will affect somebody, because they may be someplace and they'll say, oh, shoot, we gotta go around, but.
Yep.
Yeah.
And by them coming in so late, most of the grain should have already...
Yep, and I got confirmation from the ranch elevator manager, he was very appreciative that it got delayed.
Came this way?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
That's good.
I said, I don't know if that's good or bad, but it didn't really affect harvest at this date.
Now we just need Mother Nature to cooperate
Yeah,
for
get a couple
Yeah.
of weeks of decent weather.
Yes, about 2 months. At the end of the year, we'll be fine.
Okay, Ben, we appreciate it.
All right.
Thank
Anything
you.
else?
Ben?
Thanks.
guessing you're Chris?
Yes.
All right. You're up.
We even got a chair for you. You bet.
Yeah, you're welcome to get up here and,
The mics pick you up better,
Yeah.
you're sitting up here.
Oh, I definitely don't want to sit here.
is this your backup man?
Yep.
Yes, this is my Councilman Lowell
I
Johnson.
know.
Oh, you
I'm giving
got
him
here
a
good,
bad
want
time.
you?
I like to give him a bad time.
Better come up and support her,
I've never
Lowell.
been there.
With the drainage before.
Mhm.
Yeah, right. So, the reason I'm here is because we paid the drainage fees that we were supposed to, but they were not by the September 1st deadline, for the simple fact that with the city, it was not budgeted in, so we had to do a budget amendment. So what I'm asking is if we can waive the late fees for this.
So it has been paid to date.
Well, I sent the check in after we did our budget amendment.
Right.
Yes, and I put the full amount, but then the check was sent back to me, saying that I owed late fees.
What's the amount of those?
Hold on, it's on the letter here.
Right.
$939.21. Because our original check was $34,767.38.
Yeah, when did you send that to them?
I sent it to him on October 9th.
Did you let everyone know that you needed the budget amendment and were in communication to why it would be late?
I did call Trish Eagley and explain that to her, and she said she would address the assessor or auditor, whoever needed to be told, but apparently the information did not get forwarded.
Would that go to the treasurer?
Yeah, it was Jan.
The only one I knew to talk to was Trish, because she's
And
the
that's fine,
drainage.
that's where
Yeah.
that came from.
We've been advised a long time ago, when you have drainage districts in the city limits and the rural areas, you're always gonna have difficulties. So I think this is only appropriate for us to take this action.
Well, that we discussed it last spring, when you
Yeah.
sent out the bill originally, it never made it in time for our budgeting. I
Right,
mean, we got it in April and our budget was
Budget
done in
time
March,
started.
so
Correct.
right.
we knew there was gonna be a problem with, that part of it.
Yeah.
And
If we had had time to
It was
budget it,
addressed
then we
at that
would have
time.
never had a problem with paying it up, at the appropriate
Right.
time. But because of the situation of it not being on our budget, and then we had to do the budget amendment and so forth.
I'm really
We had to
surprised
wait.
they sent it back.
I am too, when she said that, I'm like, what? They returned a
I'm
$34,000 check?
gonna ask.
Here's the
Jan.
letter.
Go ahead.
Jan, yeah, but I'm surprised they just didn't take that and then,
Sent you another bill, yeah.
No, they sent the check back,
So you said it was 939, what?
$939.21 was the
That was the balance.
penalties, yes.
Yeah, we've run into things with the towns, other than drainage too, that they were not able to get on their budget.
Right. If we'd
Correct.
gotten the bill in February or March,
Yep.
we would've been fine.
Correct.
Right. Well, I mean, wasn't even discussed here at the county until Monday, March 26th. We got like preliminary amounts on February 23rd, but by then, our budgets were already set,
Right.
because we have to do the, you guys are well aware, you have to do the publishing and the,
Yes.
So many days to wait.
public hearing and so on and so forth. So, I mean, as soon as we got it, we did what we could. I got right on it and, did the budget amendment and so forth, but.
Maybe they sent that check back, they thought it was an error or something, I don't know.
They don't have a clue.
Back?
Hello,
Okay, I'll do it.
we're here on, their request for the waiving of the penalties on, their assessment on the drainage. And they said that the check was mailed back to them,
Yeah, anytime the
numbers don't jive.
the postage was late, we have to use a certain date for figuring penalties, and we don't make that decision whether or not they're forgiven. So that's why we like to come to the board, to have the final say, so, just.
and the due date is actually September 30th, right?
This year, it usually is, this year they had October 1st because of the month end falling on a
Yeah.
weekend, but, yeah. And a lot of the customers, we don't have phone numbers to contact them. I don't know if your office is open every day, but,
Monday through Friday.
okay.
Well, I understand this whole process has been tough on the cities due to the fact of the budget and plus a huge expense that was incurred through this project. I hate to penalize anybody any more than what we already have with this project. And I don't think there's anything wrong with us waiving the penalties on this. So I would make that a motion to waive the penalties.
I would second that motion.
Accept their check today.
All right, we have a motion and a second to waive the penalties on drainage. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carried.
We're pretty easy to get along with, aren't we?
Yes, you are.
Thanks for
Thank
Chris.
you very
Thank
much.
you,
Appreciate
guys.
you.
Want your check now, or you want her to mail it to you?
Nope.
It might get lost in the mail.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, the old checks in the mail routine?
You're that lost.
That's why I play that game.
Thanks, Chris.
Appreciate your time, guys.
Very
Thank you
much.
very much.
Good luck. Oh, man.
Doing good, you're right on time.
Hey, we got like minutes to kill.
Yeah. Literally minutes to kill.
What do you got for us? You got anything?
We have our annual letter of non-deductibility of lobbying expense. I think I put a copy on the table for you. We didn't get you to sign, you only need your stamp on that one doesn't have. And I think that's it. Oh, I was telling, Rick and Eric this morning, I had a call last week from Jansen Waterproofing, and they're not coming this year. In fact, Mrs. Jansen called instead of him because he was afraid of what I would say to him. And I said, I'm not nasty, we were told if we were on the list early in the year that we would get done this year. But they blamed it on the weather, and we did have a lot of rain and a lot of storm events. So, we're promised we're first on the list for next year, so we'll see. But they will not be coming to do the waterproofing this year.
Should we, I don't think our committee reports are gonna be huge. We
Yeah,
can
you wanna
do,
do that?
committee reports, and then Peggy can try to do her own job.
I would appreciate that, we got lots of election stuff
She's
to
got
get
things, I'm guessing.
Okay.
Um,
Last Tuesday, Peggy was up and talked to us about elections, it was very good about Peggy.
Thank you.
Informed
For the
what we
Rotary?
do. And she spoke at Rotary Club. And on Tuesday afternoon, we had a housing meeting, and all I can tell you is we purchased some more land, and we're attempting to purchase some more land to, put some houses and condos up out west side of the golf course, east side of the golf course. And I might mention to you too, I think, December 6th, probably gonna get a letter from the district supervisors meeting at Charles City. That usually comes the day before we go to Fort Dodge for the drainage ministry. So I assume you clear your calendars and see if you can go to Charles City on Thursday and Fort Dodge on Friday. I think it's
the
Fort Dodge.
drainage one in Fort
Fort
Dodge.
Dodge, yeah.
And I have the second judicial that same day, so I'm gonna try to go to both of them.
Oh, you're gonna be busy.
That's the end of my report.
It's usually nasty weather that day.
Your snow is right.
It's cold and snowy always.
I think it's important we try to make that district meeting. We're
Yeah,
one of
it's
the few-
always informative.
Most districts don't have that, and we gotta keep it going.
Okay, on Tuesday the 30th, I had a VA meeting, approved claims. Then on Thursday, I met with, Iowa Select and Eric and I went up and looked at a hog site that's got a drainage issue up on Birch Avenue. That's all I had,
What day did we do that, Dave?
Thursday the 1st.
What kind of issue they got?
Hmm.
Surface issue?
Yeah, we did tell you about it, but... That is, yeah, Dave, I was with Dave on Thursday morning, the 1st, that he just described, looked at a hog site, kind of improved the drainage situation around that on Birch Avenue in Avery Township, so that's really the only official thing that I had last week.
Okay, Tuesday morning, I met with Dave Minicus out here at our landfill, Humboldt's landfill. did a walkthrough of that property, and there's a couple of areas that I'm gonna talk with Ben about bringing some dirt out so we can fill in some low areas. Overall, he said it looks really good. I think we're doing some well testings that he has to send in for the DNR here at the end of the year. And then on Tuesday afternoon, I stopped and looked at a guy thought it was a county tile that had a blowout in a field south of Hardy, because I was up in that area and he had my cell number. So I stopped and looked at that, but I'm pretty positive it was a lateral off the main, because the main runs north and south and got down in the hole, and this tile was running east and west, and it was smaller. So I had informed the farmer I figured it was a private tile. Good work. So, that's all I had.
Okay, I didn't have any.
I might point out too, with this, meeting we had about drainage, it's important that we, come January, you appoint somebody to replace, we need 12 members on that board, Rick and I are both on it now. I'll be going off as representative supervisor.
Oh, up there.
But they're gonna put me on as a realtor, so you need to get as a supervisor on that board. They gotta have 12, according to bylaws.
Which board is this?
Housing, Humboldt Housing.
Oh,
So January, you need to appoint somebody to go with you to that meeting.
okay.
You're on for life until
Yeah.
appointed.
Good to know.
All right,
I was wondering if, there's any old business or new business we could discuss? Or am I too late?
No?
I was curious about the ag drainage well, issue over in my area, if I could discuss a little bit about that, if there's any new news or old news about that.
Well, I tell you, we're gonna move into
we're going to
drainage.
drainage
Discuss
here
it there.
shortly.
There's going to be drainage,
Yeah.
so the tile's gonna move forward.
No,
No, we're going to talk, we're going to start
We're gonna move
talking
into
about
drainage, so
drainage.
then we can discuss your issue there.
Good, so I came on the right day then.
Well, I mean,
Well, every day's the right day for drainage.
we're just sending Peggy so she can go.
I move we go to
over.
drainage.
We have a motion.
Second.
Can I second that?
All in favor?
Aye.
Pose same sign.
Bye, Grady.
All right, I will get Trish.
Maybe you should mention, I don't have to say it drainage or at the end of the meeting, but just what we
Need to discuss it.
You would discuss it in drainage, or just
Don't
tell them?
matter.
I don't think it does, because it really doesn't have to do with the,
Just gotta
just
discuss
tell
it.
them.
We're not used to
this
being ahead of
semester.
schedule.
Yeah.
You got loaded.
That's what we
Well,
came
put
up
it
with
this
the
way.
other day.
We haven't had a good year.
No, we're,
I read the dam, I don't wanna
drainage,
spill it all over.
it never goes quite
Last
quickly.
Last week, we were just in
I messed up the
quick
coffee again this morning.
conversation.
Yeah, you did.
Rick, is it fit to drink?
Yeah, it ain't too bad.
Well, I don't, what I thought was in it through it, so.
Yeah, it's not bad.
You guys should ban me from the coffee maker.
We should.
We are.
You have to get here.
And I don't drink it.
We try, Carl, we always try to be encouraging.
Another 2 months and you won't have to do it anymore, Carl.
That's the reason I get kicked out, right? Can't make coffee.
That's right.
Well, that's the reason you get leaving, it ain't so bad. Yeah, it does.
Morning, Rick.
Morning, Bruce.
Morning.
Good.
Sound like usual?
Yeah, I was gonna say, so I told Rick, it's about the same difference.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Kenton brought his own, I suppose.
I did.
It is.
You knew I was making it,
Same
right?
idea.
Anybody back there want coffee? Sandy's not old enough.
I'm sorry. I thought you had your cup. I was looking at that cup.
Oh, I know, that's my water.
Tea, I'd take tea.
Well, it's almost.
Three a little faster, isn't it?
Hey, I stopped this morning before I ran up.
Good morning, sunshine.
Oh, gee.
The cup.
Yes.
Tea available.
Yes, tea available.
Maybe it was too early.
Evidently.
Yeah.
I think she might have just threw some coffee at the machine and, 'cause it was pretty thin. Okay. We're now in drainage. Does that work for you?
Sure.
Okay. Looks like we have, DD 18.
Where is that at?
That's
Hardy,
Northeast corner,
north of Hardy,
yeah, north of Hardy.
Vernon.
where it runs along the blacktop, that's part of the.
Yeah, the Hardy Blacktop, yeah, where the point, where the ditch runs along the west side of the road.
And
That's
east side.
18.
That's a big ditch.
It is
Yeah.
a huge area.
Vernon Township.
I hate driving along that when it's in the wintertime, when it's icy.
Yeah.
That's deep, it's deep up and down.
Yeah, right here, it comes across here.
It's right north of the, where they just fixed that culvert,
Yes,
isn't it?
that whole area
Yep.
is DD 18.
Matter of fact, that culvert dumps into the team.
That's a big area.
Yeah.
Big ditch area.
Yeah. That was, the report was done in 2001. Average depth was 1.5 to 2.5 feet of silt, and one spot was as much as 3.9 feet. That was cleaned out then, probably not finished till '02. And then there was an hourly done more recently. Was that 3 years ago?
Yeah, it was, the fall, late fall of 2015.
Okay.
And what area was that cleaned out?
Wasn't that done,
It was cleaned out, up at the upper end, for about, probably 3 miles, I guess.
Something like that. Fair amount.
didn't we do something
Larry,
down
is
by
this what we looked
Blacktop
at,
too?
Yeah.
part of it?
Yeah, that's
Yep.
what he's talking about.
The upper end part?
That clean, where they cleaned it
We
on the
physically
blacktop
looked at it?
Yep. Yeah. Could I?
Yes.
Go ahead,
Yes.
Russ.
Yep.
Township?
Yeah, we petitioned it to get cleaned out in the winter of 2014 or whatever, and then came back and got cleaned out, and then, late that year, he did quite a bit in a week. It went really quick, and then the next spring, I'm at the upper end.
That doesn't go any further than Larry's.
I would really like for it to work, but it's not working. And I had grass growing in May in the center of the ditch after it'd been cleaned out. But anyway, since then, it never helped me a bit. The clean out down below didn't help me a bit. I've got 3 of my outlets, one including a drainage district tile that is submerged yet today. And 3 out of 6 are submerged. And one was soil conservation tile, and down and back in '64. And the rules for that, those were that they had to have a foot of, drop at the outlet. Well, it's completely submerged. I had to take a shovel to even hit the top of the culvert for the outlet. And in 2016, those, after it got cleaned out, he ripped up a couple, culverts that he didn't know was there or something, or whatever. But, those got replaced by work order. One of them submerged already. Wasn't submerged when they put them in, obviously. And so we're getting some restriction from somewhere down the line. I just asked Rick, I guess earlier, when they put the new culverts in and the gravel road there, I think there's some new culverts that, did they tie it in with the original flow line of the ditch? That's my question. I used to be a surveyor in the engineering department, and, anyway, I think it needs a good survey to see where we're at and what's restricting this flow, because, it's worse than it was before he cleaned it out. I mean, I got no advantage to the clean out at all. And, I'm just kind of wondering if it really needs at least get a survey and find out where we're at, and clean out. Plus, there's about 800 feet downstream from my land, there used to be a bridge that goes across. Well, the abutments
They're falling in.
Well, they come in, we probably got a 20-foot wide channel. It goes to a 10-foot wide channel, right down below there. Now, I'm not saying that is the total problem. I'm saying it does restrict flow. And, so, I was just wondering what we could, settle on doing there to get better drainage that I used to have.
Yeah, the last cleanout was just an hour later, there was no
There was no,
It never went up to the north, did it? They cleaned out to the south, correct?
No, it came up to my area.
They did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The first time they did a clean out was, it went from the new culverts or whatever. I think that corner, where it turns north, that all got cleaned up. The lower end got cleaned out. Then we I petitioned, and Mark Borman petitioned to get the upper end cleaned out. And that's when it got cleaned out in 2015, when the job got done, supposedly.
but at that time, was that still a spot clean out?
That was a spot clean out.
Is this petition for an entire clean out of the whole ditch system?
This petition?
Yeah.
I didn't, I just would like to get a survey
Of this system.
of the system and find out what's blocking the actual drainage, or it needs a full clean out from, to find out where,
They cleaned it quite extensively, like you say, early.
It was 2002, I think, the actual cleanout, I believe, the thorough cleanout. Yeah, the 2001 plan shows that it was cleaned out from the north end of where it is adjacent to the road, south, west, northwest, all the way up into Larry's. That's where it was up to 3.9 feet of silt in it.
And when was that, the culvert, the box culvert that was put in that gravel road that runs east and west, which would be
about a mile and a half
140th?
down.
That'd be 140th?
Yes, it would be, I think.
When was that done?
Yeah, 'cause I remember when that was done, that wasn't too long ago, it was done in the late fall.
I know Monty Bill Toohey was complaining about that, thinking it was restricting the flow, but I don't know, that's what he...
Yeah, typically they always put them about 6 inches below the hard.
Or more, yeah. And we may have reviewed that flow line on that one, I didn't look at that.
I'll grab my little spectacles here so I can see something.
The engineering department is real good about having us look at, the old ditch flow line to be sure that they're putting it in below that. I'd have to check if we did this one.
That's not over here, it's still this district here.
Here's Larry's field right here.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I've seen all the
So
stuff he's
it's right
talking
there.
about, and I'm familiar with the old bridge.
Yeah.
Right there. The end of it, your field is in section 18, isn't it?
Yes,
Not-
section 18.
This is Larry's field where it ends. Where it ends.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
Where
they
it ends.
put a new box in
So that's
there.
south of
Yeah,
Borman's
5,
hog
6
site?
years ago, 7 years ago.
South of where?
Borman?
No, that would be north.
Yeah, you gotta go a little to the west of Borland's hog buildings and then to the north,
Oh, all right.
Mhm.
mile west of there, yeah, north.
Okay, I see it, 18. This other 18 threw me off.
Looks like it goes all the way across Vernon.
Isn't here correct, sir? Yeah, here's, this is the
Comes
end
over
of
here
it.
and dumps.
And Larry's,
So,
and it is footed up
what's
by
the recommendation, to survey it? And then
I think
make a
the cheapest
decision?
thing to do, let's fly a drone over it first.
Yeah.
And
We're
see
gonna
if
be
there's
here
any kind of
often
blockage that's visible,
Anything evident, yeah.
you know, something, 'cause before you go surveying that whole district, you're gonna
I
spend a
know.
ton of money, right?
Well, it add up, with the system we use now, it goes pretty fast, but, Yeah. Drone flight's a great idea to start with.
To see if there's
Take a
somewhere where the
couple
bank
hours.
sloughed off and
Yeah.
plugged it, or
Yep.
what.
Yep. There'd be a chance to go downstream a little bit too with the drone. Check that out. See if there's any-
Because I noticed, where they put the new box under the blacktop,
Check the
the
whole
water's
thing.
still pretty high right in through there even.
Where
I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
man-hours need to be.
And you go
You
down-
know,
Next up
obviously,
over here somewhere.
those bridges.
It is where they take this.
Ditches are,
And they did the.
you know, not on a real high grade.
No, they're
or
pretty
anything,
flat.
So,
I just don't think they did
But,
a good job of it.
my, I guess my
It might be
problem
okay
is
to
that
down,
I'm
but it
actually,
might be more.
I have more water there now than
Yeah,
I used to,
maybe.
than I used to have.
It makes me wonder if there's a blockage.
yeah, I kinda wonder if there's
Yeah.
a blockage somewhere that we're just
And
don't.
maybe it's down by the abutment, you know, we talked about that,
Mhm.
where you know, you can't squeeze, 20 feet into 10, and not have some kind of a problem. You know, you should be taking that out.
I'm really surprised that the last go-around they had at this, they didn't remove that, because
Well,
we
it was
just,
just a clean out, but.
still,
yeah.
you know, we're talking about
It wouldn't
obstruction.
took much to pull that out.
No, it'd taken whatever it took,
Actually,
but
it's built pretty good.
it's not, it's old school, but
Yeah.
we just
Back
went,
when they built stuff.
we just went through private crossings and height of culverts, and, that whole rigmarole that was an obstruction.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Larry, nobody's asking for a crossing there.
No, absolutely not.
So there's an obstruction in the ditch that, I don't know why that wasn't, I don't think it was looked at close enough, and Dave's just wondering, it goes a long ways. Yeah, you gotta kind of assess the whole thing, but someplace along the line, it's gonna take some quote-unquote legwork, groundwork, once you determine the spots to check.
But yeah, it's, obviously, we've had a lot of rain this year, but, when I went down to check the culvert outlets, it was just last Friday, and we've had 3 or 4 good weeks of, letting it
Right.
get away. And, it's actually higher than it was 3 years ago.
Drone, the drone
Yeah.
is looking better and better. And the contractor that did the hourly clean out, it would have taken very different equipment to tear that out
Right.
compared to his long reach,
But
yeah.
still, it's, in the time frame that it's been addressed, it should be working better. I mean, that's,
Yes.
it should be better than it is, so it just didn't, something isn't, obviously not right, and maybe didn't get done to the best of its ability when it was
Well,
addressed the last
I think
time.
by flying it, you have the ability to at least locate any issues and then go
We have
look
to
at
survey
it.
from that point, we can survey later.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So do we have to accept the petition to start this whole process? We need to start there, correct? Make a motion that we accept the petition to take a look at this ditch clean out.
We have a motion to accept a clean-out petition for DD number 18,
I'll second that,
and a second.
even though it's gonna cost me.
That's right. Yeah, forget where you live.
Well, I don't like it any better than you do, but,
I suppose you wanna abstain.
I should.
Does that mean you wanna double chip in, double?
No, 'cause I get no benefit from it, 'cause my tile's so poor, my outlet's so poor. I gotta go underneath the railroad tracks and a hard surface road to replace it.
No, I guess we'll end the discussion
Yeah.
there.
And I'm like them guys that say, I don't get any good out of it, yet I have to pay.
yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Motion carries.
Yeah, we'll get that phone and then bring that down and go
Well,
forward with you.
second part of the motion and thing is to hire engineer. I'd like to mention that we have one of the representatives from McClure Engineering here, and you've been in on the whole discussion, Dan Wiedemeyer. Can we let him say a couple words about, ditch cleanouts?
Certainly, I don't know, there's quite a bit that you guys have already said here. Sounds like, you know, an initial drone flyover is a great idea, just to look for obvious blockages, seeing as, we've already gone after the issue a few years ago. But, yeah, not really much to add here.
Does your company have drone flights available?
We do, we've got a basic drone, which is probably just a simple drone with a camera that you fly over. We also have a drone that does essentially LiDAR, but it's generally more expensive of an item than we suggest for drainage districts, so just a simple camera flyover. I'm guessing what you guys were talking about earlier, yeah, that's more along the lines of what we use for drainage district work.
Does that make sense with the, you know, the basic video thing that we've seen when the equipment works? Flyover, give you enough kind of information to get to a point of, somebody's gonna have to go out there at some point and get the physical measurements.
Yeah, it gives a good overview. Right now, in Kasuth County, we're working on a similar clean out where essentially we did some very sporadic, survey shots because we didn't see silt as much of an issue, and then we went through, and just got some GPS, camera shots, essentially walking the ditch with a four-wheeler and taking camera shots and then locating those on a map, which is a pretty simple thing to do. So that's a little bit closer than a drone, but then again, you can fly in nice and close with a drone as you have a good operator too, so either way is a good solid approach.
Well, my thought on this is, it's a long ditch system, from start to finish. Starts in Larry's Field and it goes a long ways, the total district, like, you know, we
Goes
see
all the
it.
way over to Highway 17 almost.
Yeah. So, kind of, we're talking an assessment of the situation, so that, because I've had other landowners, maybe you guys have heard too, when we start talking ditch clean out or spot clean out, and one guy's, his direct response was, he says, I paid for 3 or 4 spot clean outs in 4 or 5 years, why wasn't this looked at to begin with, and maybe we should have just done a complete clean out and been done with it. You know, this is not the
Well,
same.
I'm quite sure this ditch doesn't need a complete clean out.
And I'm not saying it
I
does.
see it all the time.
I'm not saying it does, but to definitively locate the issue spots, and then get a program, so maybe it's, you can get from point A to B, and A to B point is a complete clean out. Possibly. I mean, there's a lot of different factors. Or is it point A to B, then you need to get a, you know, in like, say, Larry's area. From here to here, that's a kind of a spot clean out. You determine the bridge abutment, for an example, the old thing, that needs to come out, you need this cleaned. But just, you need a realistic assessment of the system to go in and then really decide what needs to be done.
Well, my question is, if you fly it with the drone and you see that there's a couple spots in your little area over there that, does that mean then we go in there and shoot them to see what the level of your tile, those outlets are? Because somewhere there's something that's major blockage on that, right? If you got water over the top of those tiles.
Right, and one of,
I mean, I'm trying to figure out what
I
the,
think it's lateral left has got a good outlet. I mean, it sets up pretty good, but the other one, I think it's G. I might have mixed up, F4G.
If they're existing pipes, we got flow lines on them in 2001.
Yeah, county tile. Or
Yeah.
Drainage district tile.
Yeah.
And we shot every outlet when we
F
did the...
goes off to the north,
Yeah.
and G
F
goes
is the
off to
one
the
that's
west.
probably, 7/8 submerged, somewhere in there. You know, you can see the top of the culvert and maybe an inch down or so.
So like, how big a tile is that?
That's, I think, is a
16?
16 or 18.
My Bible.
You should have a 18
18?
culvert, you know.
And we should have the flow line on that even.
Yeah, you should have the flow
Yeah,
line.
our plans show each of the outlet pipes and the elevation they were at, the flow line,
Yeah.
and the elevation of the center of the ditch.
And when they're submerged, I looked at the profile of the ditch, was here, I think Thursday or Friday, and it's supposed to have 1.5 to 2 foot of outlet there. And it's submerged, so there's gotta be something wrong.
And then Rick's firm's already got the data on this. I would suggest we hire Rick as the engineer for this project. And have him fly it, and see what happens.
And I can do a quick review on the flow lines of all the outlets and how they compare to the bottom of the ditch also.
Well, I'd like to mention that, and this don't, this is nothing against what you've
I
got
think we
going.
need a second before we discuss it, Mr.
Was
I think we need
there-
a second.
I'd like-
We need a motion.
All right.
We gotta have a second before we can discuss
I
it.
understand, but you said I'd suggest, that's...
Okay, I move we hire Rick firm.
Okay,
We have a
I'll
motion.
second the motion.
Now we can discuss
Now
it all we
you
want.
can discuss, all right.
My discussion is, and Rick's doing a good job with, we got two big projects going on in the county, and he's working with those, and his guys are working with those. I visited briefly with Dan, and he is here, so I'm not gonna speak for him, but your company right now, you said you're not swamped with drainage, correct? Elaborate on that.
Yep, corn prices are down, there's not much drainage to be doing, so, I mean, we're a large company, we have other things that we can do, but as far as drainage goes, we got a pretty open look right now.
And we have a little experience with their company on a couple of projects. It was more getting some extracurricular data, and they did a real good job with that on two separate areas in this past year or so. I think it's maybe a good time to pass some of this, at this point, it'd be inspection work along to a different company to work with and take a look at. We've got previous experience, I've had farmers out in the field that talk to, Nate Sure is their guy that goes out and field inspects, and have had high praise for the work that you've done, the little bit that you've had a chance here in the past year and a half, so, my suggestion would probably be to go a different direction and go with a different company at this point, just to, maybe free up some of Rick's time, let him keep concentrating on what he's doing, and, it'll take a little time for the investigation, but I know that your company would be well qualified.
I had a question for the landowner who put in the petition. Do you have any preference? Because quite often when we have work orders, we let the landowner say, oh, I want so-and-so to do the work or whatever. Do you have any preference?
No, I do not have any preference, but I tell you what, I would like to have the copy of the survey, because I do know.
Yeah, you know a little bit about it.
Yeah, that helps.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because something's gotta be done,
I think Murray Engineer do a good job. Rick got the data already. I think we know he's changing horses in the middle of the stream, in my opinion.
Well, I think,
Does the county own that data? All that data?
Yeah, there's copies of plans and,
Yeah, we own them, so they're available to anybody.
And I've got a copy of the, each of, that shows each of the outlet pipes.
So, Rick, what is, addressing Eric's concern with the two tile projects that we have going on and the amount of observation that you guys are doing at both those, what's the chances of being able to go over and, shoot this,
Very
fly
good,
it,
because
shoot it,
Jordan
and
is
get
the
all
guy,
the information to us?
Jordan is the guy that's been in the field inspecting. Derek is our guy that does the drone flights, and, he's not tied up on inspection. He does some staking as the time allows, he does design work as time allows. But the biggest thing with the drone lately has been weather. You can't do it in the rain. It's hard on them, can totally ruin them. Wind makes them, very strong wind, it makes it difficult to keep it on path. Matter of fact, we've tried it in wind where you can't even get it to move forward, because the wind's so strong. So, All we need is some weather conditions, and we could do it right away. Because
So
it's
then
a different guy.
So then, I guess I'm not putting, yeah, I am gonna put you on the spot. If you could do that, what's your time frame in getting us the information? Because I'm gonna ask Dan sitting behind you what
Yep.
his time frame would be.
I have to talk to Derek and see if he's available the first part of this week. 20-degree weather isn't good either, the batteries are undone. We bought extra batteries and they're like $150 each, just to
I
have
don't
the
work
flight
very well
time.
in 20-degree weather either,
Yeah, yeah, very true. That's all I'd say. The only reason he probably couldn't get it this week is the weather, the second half of the week. Get into next week.
And Dan?
About the same answer. Yeah, it sounds like we're using a lot of the same technology, so, yeah.
Okay.
I got a question for you, Dan. You mentioned that, you have a drone with LiDAR on it?
Yeah.
How accurate is that then?
It wouldn't,
It'd be,
for a
it's
full
actually...
line of a ditch, though, I don't think it'd do
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, so it'd be very expensive to check a ditch, but usually it's more accurate than what we have online as far as downloading LiDAR, in terms of resolution. Yeah, it's a fantastic system, but like I said, we've quite spent.
Is it less than foot contours?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Can you pick and choose the flights with the high-tech drone? I've actually talked to the
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
guy that does that, and he gave me a litany of stuff that, and I was like, it was getting way above my head. You're probably familiar with him.
He was very zealous with our new technology.
He's extremely, but very, very knowledgeable, so you can pick and choose your areas to fly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Site development, it works really well, because it's often a bare site, but as far as getting ditch flow lines, he's right, yeah. The water's there, you can't getting the water, not the, yeah. And that's why he's...
Not only
like he
have
did.
the drone, but I'd like a couple shots on the county, you know, compared to what it's supposed to be. Compared to the water.
The drone thing, in my mind, is getting to that point and trying to pinpoint where, because you've got to have, like Larry's mentioning, the survey information. You know, where, what, and where.
Well, they got, in 20-degree weather, somebody will be in a canoe. If you're interested, you could probably ride along in that.
I've got my own back office go out.
I'm just being... Anyway, we have a motion and a second for, Rick's firm. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Motion carries.
We'll absolutely get it on the calendar and get out there. And probably what we'll do too is, I'd like to take at least just a few shots while we're out there on these pipes and be sure they haven't moved. Because we have the flow lines of all those county outlets, and know where the ditch should be there, so, should be fast.
And then check
The one's way up.
box culvert that you have in.
Yes.
Check right from that picture.
Yep, yep. Yes. And I'll get you an idea what the cost might be to do the ditch.
I mean, just to note, I was out looking at where they put the box underneath the blacktop. Just in that short 100 yards, there was probably 3 feet of blockage in that one along the blacktop. There was one spot, the water was dropping 20 inches over. And I asked the guy, why don't you just clean that out while you're here? And he said, no, first they just got a bucket with teeth. And he said, that's not
That'll
my
make a
job.
mess.
My question is, you were talking earlier about a culvert that they found, or along that highway,
Yeah.
where they put that, was that off to the side?
It was actually, it was supposed to...
Down in the channel?
It was actually under the road. They were supposed to remove it when they put the tin whistle through, and they just laid the tin whistle alongside of it.
Alongside of it.
Yeah, so then when they took it
That
out...
might have been one of the original culverts, you know.
What did Ben say, it
Put
was
in
a
with
60,
the
so they
ditch.
put that through there?
it was 60-inch.
I thought he said it was done in the...
It was.
Oh, it was, yeah.
It was, and they're supposed to take it out
Yeah.
again.
But they didn't, they just laid it alongside, and then filled it in.
The culvert they replaced, I remember, I think it was when we did this, or the lateral, that it actually had backslope on it too. So, I'm sure they took care of that.
Yeah, they did a nice job, looked really good.
And I understand they're starting on this pipe south of Clear this week too, so. There's a lot, need some relief farmers out there.
Should we visit about this, see what we visited about?
You need to have Larry sign this petition if you would,
You bet.
Okay,
before you leave.
all right.
We have wetland discussion here. I think he had a request.
I'm
up.
you're up.
All right. I'll just swing it a little closer. I was wondering if, is there any new discussions or any more info about what we had the meeting, a month or so back now?
And I'm guessing you're talking about the Gilmore City.
Yeah, SAG drainage
area.
well
Yeah.
closures going on there.
What is that next?
There will be on Monday, November 19th,
19th? Is that what
approximately
that was
10
thinking?
o'clock.
That's our date.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Larry.
Monday, November
19th
10 o'clock, yeah.
Yeah.
10
is
o'clock.
what, we have Mike Borland
Yep.
Yep.
scheduled
After the board meeting.
after, well, hopefully we're gonna have everything done on the first part of the morning, and then he's coming to give any news updates or, and I know there's some other people that are, hoping to present alternatives, put it that way.
Our firm was just hired by Mike to do the update on the reports for those ag drainage wells. So that's,
I have been in contact with Mike a little bit.
okay.
So after that meeting, I talked with him a little bit about, what the possible water level would be if it was to go wetlands. Just to kind of put a visual at my location, how it would impact it. So he told me, he thought, his best guess, because there hasn't been any money towards the engineering
Right.
of it, what the pool depth's gonna be, and the outlet, and emergency over, and et cetera, the list goes on.
Right.
So I took my laser transit out there, because I used to do layout work for commercial construction, and shot the 3-foot elevation that he said the water would be at the base of the ag drainage well. Went out to my road, my gravel road, my entry there, my whole driveway from the road to past my property line would be about 2 feet underwater.
Okay.
And also encroach on my property about 10 feet away from my shop. So the LiDAR imaging map that was given for the water line there, estimated, is not entirely accurate. I did take pictures of where that would be. I took a spray paint, took the laser
Yeah, probably that elevation of.
and did the elevation of where the water line would be, took pictures, and my septic system would be completely underwater for my shop. And then my 2 legs going towards the east for my home would be underwater. As far as elevation, the water line from where the base of my house is to the water, where the top of the water would be about 8 feet, which would be about 6 inches depth of water in my basement. Now, not knowing what that would do to the water table, I'm assuming it will raise the water table in that area.
I would think it would, yes.
I would think so too. I actually did my own septic install, got it permitted and everything, and I had water egress into the hole that I dug for the septic system. I had to do a relief with the pump, to put my tank in and everything like that. So, knowing that the water table is where it is with the ag drainage wells that we currently have, I don't know what it's gonna do to my basement, I guess. I can understand, we can do dirt work to mitigate the water encroachment on the top, but what can we do coming in underneath? So I do have some pictures, if you guys are interested in seeing them, actually give you a visual of what it's gonna do to the property line, I guess.
Mike's information is very preliminary, but at least gives him an idea to what he can check on. And Mike's told us we're hired to do this, but wait for the release of funds. And, part of what our work would include is running a tracer up each of the tile that come into the ag drainage wells, find the slope, the route they follow, and make sure that those can be daylighted. So there's a lot that has to be done yet on the report. It's just a matter of getting the go-ahead from Borland. So, legitimate, concerns, absolutely.
Wetlands ain't always a great idea either.
No.
Well, for me, they're not.
For you, they're not, yeah.
So, everything to the right would be water standing, and follow that line.
Yikes.
The other thing, there's all preliminary stuff. That watershed goes to the south, and the proposed tile goes to the north, which is gonna create untold issues if it would ever go. Cost, we know, that's why we're discussing the wetland.
Headaches.
Has it ever been, you're involving IDLs, and they always, have their rules and regulations, that you gotta go along with. But has it ever been legitimately looked at that water would be taken to the south? Is it in a drainage system?
It depends on what you mean by legitimately, because we looked at the distance and I don't know if we were able to put cost figures together.
Well,
there's so many things you have to improve, basically all the way to the river, that it just ended up a extremely expensive option.
So it's
I
not,
understand what you're saying.
it's not a cheap option going to the north.
Ooh,
You're
no.
gonna involve landowners and their tile systems that are not affected by any of this.
Right.
And it's just, cost obviously is always a big thing no matter what way you go. But the fact of the proposed tile and where it goes is gonna open up a
Huge
debacle that you cannot hardly imagine. So, it's kind of unfortunate too, of course, you can't change history, but there's one project that was already completed to close some ag drainage wells. Now getting a more literal lay of the land out there in these remaining ones, it's maybe too bad that wasn't incorporated into an original bigger project, from the get-go. It wasn't, so we've got to deal with them, but is going to the north really the best option?
Like what Mike was saying in my phone conversations with him, is these are the toughest ones, and...
Oh, yeah, well, that's
the reason
no doubt.
we left.
Yeah, in my mind is, I kind of work the opposite, do the hardest ones first, so everything else is...
No.
Don't work that way.
Well,
Yeah,
because they
when
could
you only
get,
got so many dollars to
There you
work
go.
with, you want to get as many closed as you can.
With those
And
dollars.
I see that point too.
The other side of the coin is we're just basically facilitating the meetings.
Yeah, we're just bystanders at the moment, because
We're like
there's no
the cheering
district
team
formed.
until someone decides this is the best route, and then this is the money that we have to fix it, until
We bring the
those
parties
things,
together.
then we bring everybody together, and we hopefully walk out and we're all friends, but looking at your pictures, I didn't know that you probably wanted a lakefront property on your
Well,
shed.
and like I told Mike and the other folks that were here, and I said in the meeting, I'm an avid hunter, and if it's done right, the wetlands are done right, it would, I feel, increase the value of my property. But there goes the saying, it has to be done right.
Right.
What Mike said, well, we'll do what we can to mitigate berming. Well, berming makes me nervous, because basically that's gonna give me a bathtub. And-
Berming holds water on both sides.
Right. So if I have egress water in my basement, do I pump into my own, I gotta make it out of the berm. Well, is there some legality of me pumping water onto, the farm ground around me? Could I do that? Means it's a wetlands with contamination, there's all kinds of questions to be answered there. So the berming idea makes me nervous. The driveway, I know, could be brought to elevation and make work. But as you guys know, the wettest year that we've had, it's wetter than most, I guess. Is 3 feet gonna be the highest? you know, a year like this, we could end up with 4 or 5 feet,
Yeah.
easily. So, in my mind, it was mentioned to me, well, we'd appraise your property and possibly buy you out, and I don't want it to get to that. I plan on living my days out there, so, I don't know, it's making me nervous, and I lose a lot of sleep over the deal, because we just bought the place 2 years ago, and I put a bunch of money into it.
Well, all I would tell you is we're still trying to be on both sides.
Right.
And trying to hear all of the options and listen to engineers and Mike with his expertise. And not that I'm worried about it, but I worry about it, and I'm gonna be damn glad when December 31st comes, and I'm gonna go down to that end, and then I'm gonna say, what are you gonna do?
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Hey, what are you gonna do?
Retire.
Right, I don't blame you one bit.
Because, you know, we don't have the ability, because somebody's gonna be mad.
You ain't gonna please everybody.
The main reason I'm here is you folks deal with it way more than I ever do, and have the knowledge. And I'm making phone calls, whoever I can make phone calls, to educate myself and how this works. And from a legal standpoint, we're finding a lawyer that specializes in that, and I don't wanna take it to that, I just need to know, you know, from a legal standpoint, where...
Well, that was my question at one of the meetings, was how deep is the water gonna get over along Highway 3 if it were made into wetlands? Could it be a situation where, with weather like this, we could have...
Looking at the elevation, that, you know, you take that gravel road that goes to Pioneer there, that's my access road off Highway 3. There's a low spot there, and there's an ag drainage well right there.
Right there.
I think it would put that underwater. My laser won't go far enough to shoot that, I was gonna shoot it, but at the end of my driveway, where my access is onto the gravel, it'd be about 1.5 feet below the top of the gravel road edge. So I would think that would be underwater, that's lower than that spot.
Well, yeah, a road with only that much would be no good anyway, because the road would turn to mush.
Right.
So,
And that was my concern with, you know, okay, we build my driveway up to get access, erosion over time. You know, you'd have to put, oh, God knows how much riprap underneath that to make it stable. And how wide are you gonna go then, too, on top of that, so.
Well, we're trudging ahead slowly, and hopefully Mike's gonna come with some more answers and some more pieces of the puzzle that we can try to put in place and make the best
Well,
job
Rick
we can.
said it too, I mean, we're mitigating it, I mean, we're just allowing this kind of discussion.
Right.
Yeah, 'cause this is more news to another, like I say, another piece of the puzzle. We didn't realize it was gonna get quite that high.
Yeah, well, and I looked at that imaging that day, 'cause that was the first I'd heard about it, and, God, that seems awful close, and you don't really get an idea for it off of a map like that, I feel, so that's why I did what I did with shooting elevation. I just wanted to see, and it's gonna make it a mess out there.
Will they have been notified of the meeting? I don't remember, how did that go when we set the meeting? Did we make an announcement that meeting was gonna be on the 19th?
I didn't get anything that day out of it, but I was trying to talk to Mike and find out more information while you guys were...
Well, the landowner should have a notification, because that's who this is affecting.
I haven't gotten anything in the mail yet.
Were you planning on sending something out? Because, yeah, like Rick said,
You're
for
planning-
Mike to come and
you're
talk to
planning-
us.
Okay, Trish is planning to send something out.
Planning
so-
to, okay. Because for Mike to come and talk to us isn't gonna do
No.
the good that it needs to.
I need to know what to
We were
include
wondering
for
what the
Mike's
status of
purpose.
our work, just call me again anytime.
I think it's
Okay.
We haven't been told to start on it, but
Okay.
we're ready.
All right.
Right.
Well, hopefully we'll have some more answers then.
It's gonna be the big thing right there on the 19th.
I think the reason Mike has hired us for this is we have a bunch of topography already for the area from previous study we did for that, so.
Okay, thank you.
Can I email you those pictures that?
Yes, yeah, it should be on the
I'd
card.
like to do that.
Yes, I'd love to have that.
'Cause,
Got some more things for us?
that's just one.
Okay, no, I'd love to have
Oh,
it, that'd be great.
Hi, Bill.
We had some bills.
Yeah.
It's always good to have bills.
Bill.
That's probably a good time for me to leave.
There you go. Thank you.
Oh. Get those.
Eric gets these,
Rick, get those.
Rick gets this one,
Dave, get these.
Dave gets this one, I don't have to pay anything.
All right, I have Trish and I talked after last week's meeting. We did.
Okay.
And we talked about, our work order sheet. Trying to figure out if, the last time we had talked, we put like a year, calendar. Completion date, or at least some type of update, so that we knew that it was assigned on such and such date. It was, I suggested maybe a 6-month review, doing it every quarter, but 6 months after it's assigned, have they done anything? Do we need to, have someone call them to, jack them up a little bit here, or whatever? And I guess, my suggestion was, is do we need to put a place on here that we initial it, that got to the 6 month? I'm looking for help for her. Because when we call and say, well, she assigned that, November 5th, and a calendar year goes by, and we haven't done a whole lot, there's only a certain time frame in there that these guys get to work on that.
Yeah.
Because the landowners don't like them tearing up their crops, and when it's cold, it's usually too cold to do drainage stuff. So I guess, what's your thoughts? Is there a 6-month period in there that we need to, if we do it every quarter?
That's too often.
Well, every quarter, there's 2 months, or 2 quarters out of it that we don't review it. We don't have time to know that,
Every
so-and-so
6 months
is...
there'd be some good weather in there, it'd be an accurate picture.
I would think that if we did it every quarter, we have, 2 quarters that there isn't gonna be a whole lot going on, and 2 quarters are gonna be going like gangbusters. But at least I'm looking for her, getting her list updated. You initial that, yep, you've talked to so-and-so, and they're, I don't know, if you think it's too much, then we can go 6 months.
I think your thought process is right.
Yeah.
You need to review it. Where is it after 6 months? I mean, we put a year, if you wanna call time stamp on it.
I like the year.
To give them a year because of the weather conditions.
Yeah, and scheduling and all that.
But, if you look at this work order list, now, there again, I think why Bruce is bringing it up, we've got dates on here from 2015.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's going on?
We just asked the contractor, you still planning to do this?
You know, but you
Yes,
don't, the theory would be, don't let it go 2-3 years without
Yeah.
checking.
I think, give them a year, and out of a year, you call them, say, where's this project at? Why isn't it done?
So this is my question. We call them, or you're gonna put it on her to call them and say, I just got the board?
I think she should.
Okay.
I think she should do it, otherwise, you call, he call, we don't know who's calling who.
That's my question.
But well, we need to review it, that's why we have these lists. I mean,
And she's simple, they can come in and say, hey, so-and-so, you need to come in and go through the list. He can come through, this one I got material ordered for, this one hasn't been looked at even. But I think we need to review them at a year, and then give them 6 months.
But that deal over in Gilmore City is a prime example.
I know.
If
It's
that
2
thing
years at
has
least.
between 2 and 3 loads of dirt has been sucked down that
Pipe.
tile, that's 2 to 3 loads of dirt that's in our pipe,
Yeah, or in the ditch.
or in the ditch. So then, do we listen to the farmer that calls and says, hey, we got a major problem out here? Somebody needs to go look at it, and Trish doesn't have time to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that us?
that
Yeah, I
is,
think that's our job.
it is,
Oh, I do
and that's,
too.
I think that, you give them a year of time, if they have a work order, they do have a year to get it completed, because it's extenuating, but you can't leave a concern out there checked, you know, and hopefully not unresolved for a year. I mean, it may take that long, depending upon what the problem is and what needs to be done. But we need to take a more hands-on approach to this, because remember, we are the drainage district trustees, and, you know, we've got this work order list, we look at it, first thing I look at is things that are 2, 3 years old. I question that. I mean, I question that. We can't put this all on Trish. I mean, you can keep in communication, say, hey, what do you see here? Do you have any information? Nope, haven't heard from this contractor for 2 years.
Well, we can't on our own go out and change contractors, so I'd rather...
No, but we can go out and look at it, we can call them. I mean, that's within our duties as trustees, to make sure she knows.
I agree.
And
but we can't individually change contractors.
No.
But we wanna know, because...
There's 5 on here of 2015.
Yes. Now, what the heck's going on there? Somebody's gotta know. We can't...
3 of them are washouts or large sinkhole, or... Are these, that's the contractor?
I think if we as a trustees keep in better contact with the contractors, they like to hear from the trustees, they like to tell you what their issues are, and if and most of them are good reputable contractors, they'll say, I can't do it, or please take me off that, it's just not within my schedule or capability. But, you know, hopefully you have the conversation with them when they get the work order. You know, you've got essentially a year for this work order. But we do need to review, I mean, I look at these work orders all the time. Think of yourself as a farmer with a gaping hole out in your field. You don't wanna wait a year, you don't really wanna wait 6 months for that to be addressed. Now, it may take 6 months to a year to fix it, depending upon, but, I think, you know, Bruce is on the right track. We do get the work order updates, I would say quarterly would be bare minimum. Take a dang hard look at them every 6 months, and then make sure that when the contractor gets a work order, they're well aware that they have a year time limit on that before it's gonna be probably taken away from them if they don't have a valid excuse.
Yeah, I think so.
Otherwise, this stuff's gonna drag on. You guys have all talked to guys, say, what is the issue here with getting this fixed, you know? I know there's a work...
I think what you're saying is very adequate, and I would go along with that. I think that's what we ought to do, but I think rather than us as an individual board member going changing contractors, we need to bring it back to the board and make that change.
But
we can call the
We can call them and do all that.
ask current one and ask, say, why not?
But we can't change contractors in the middle of the
No,
thing.
but like this one right here, he's got 4 that are 2015 and 3 that are 2016.
Maybe we ought to call them and see.
That one right there, to me, those 7 work orders
Yeah.
need to be reassigned.
Yeah.
Or ask them why they haven't been there and give them...
If there's any, I mean, we kinda have, we do get voted in by district, so we do have a geographical district. You know, when I see something that's close to me, which it could be actually far away from me, but still in my district, I'm gonna go look at it, or you talk to the landowner and say, you know, what is the deal here? I'm seeing something on a work order. Well, it's such and such. I mean, I've been out on far too many issues that didn't get fixed. Sometimes they don't even get the work order, which you'll never get it fixed if you don't have a work order, because it never got relayed into anybody. So that's the first step. Sometimes that's taken care of it. Sometimes you just have to have the conversation with the contractor and find out what the heck's going on, because we can't just let this stuff slide along for 2, 3 years without getting...
Yeah, it'll just get worse.
Yeah, because it'll just...
As long as we work through you. I mean, we're rambling and you're just sitting here and I'm feeling like you're just saying this still isn't gonna resolve this. Do them 4 that are, since 15, have we contacted him? So then...
I mean, I keep them on the list.
All right.
I do keep them, they're
Put
kind
it
of
on
like
the
a...
agenda, contact him, put him on the agenda for next week, and if he isn't here, we're gonna reassign him, explain why they're not done.
Some of these are like pending if it's going to get worse, or like Brent
Keenan's
that one's...
waiting for large sinkhole at intake south of...
And it's really not a large, it's kind of a wait and see. That's the one where, right south of the care center, West DD 126, where it kind of settled down.
Mm-hmm.
Really isn't causing a problem, it's just it must have smooshed down, and I think you've been out there looking at
Yes.
it too.
Been a while now.
And it's kind of a wait and see what's
Whether
going
it's
on.
settling or actually taking dirt, is what you're saying?
Right, yeah, I remember that one.
And I haven't heard anything farther than this.
Okay, so this one, 11/6, or 11/7 of 16, Brandon says due next spring, May.
That one might be,
So he was out there in 16, the work order came in 15, so I'm guessing that if spring would've been 17, so that's 2 springs ago. I'm guessing that work order should either be filled or pulled.
it's one,
That's my opinion.
yeah, it's a wait and see also.
You know, it's pretty simple.
It needs attention, but the landowner hasn't come forward and put petition in. It needs to be cleaned out.
Landowners like to hear from you too. You know, it's, say, hey, we see something on a work order, what's your story? Well, it's the wait and see, we're not too worried about it, or where some guys, I had one guy, he says, I'm gonna sue the drainage district if I don't get this damn tile fixed. Because it's been out here for how long, and,
The one that Jen said.
you know, I honestly think that one didn't get put on a work order, so we got it on a work order, and you know what, lo and behold, it got finished. That's
Well,
what I
at times,
found.
they talk about it, but they actually don't physically do the work.
Well, they didn't, something got lost in translation, it's sometimes...
Well, we can continue
Yeah.
to discuss.
Well, I
this.
think
We
you're on the
can go back
right
to work.
track, it's to review this.
Not that I wanna put you back to work, but you're sitting in here, we're chasing our tails.
What, we've actually started this process. Trish gets us, I would say, quarterly updated report. We can look at it, we can all read it, we can all question it. We stick harder and faster to the year-long date stamp on the work order.
If she does, just continues to email it.
An email,
Emails work fine too.
Yep.
On our computer, we can look at it and keep us in the loop. If somebody's been checked one off, I mean, I'm good with that.
you know, and she has got way more than enough on her plate, and we are the trustees, remember. We can call the landowner and say, tell us about this, and we'll get the story that, and you know what, and we can call the contractor. Because if the landowner says, it's a concern, but I don't really wanna do anything. Well, okay, but we still gotta look at the date on that. And if he says, I don't know why the hell you haven't been out here, we better follow. It's pretty simple, but Bruce is really on the right track. At least a quarterly...
I feel like we're leaving her hanging, and that's what I'm trying to do away with some of the stuff. So if we can come to an agreement, I think that it'll help her, it'll help us.
Well, you already said it. Get us a quarterly report of the work orders.
She'll do it.
We've basically kind of been doing that, but just make it around that quarterly time frame. And like Bruce just said, you can email them. You don't even have to, once you pull it up, just send it to everybody. We've got it, and at the bare minimum, we better have a hard and fast discussion every 6 months about what the heck's going on,
Yeah.
just like we're having right now.
Review it,
Right.
pick on a few of those that are...
Pick out the ones that need the biggest.
And I don't know, you know, if you guys have ever called the contractor and asked their side of the story on some of these, they enjoy it. They'll tell you. You know, that's our job. It's not, you know, Trish's to kind of keep track of it. Our job as the trustees to take care of it.
Okay. Think we're done? Are you done?
Just a couple of quick updates on construction. The pipe jobs, sub 5 of 11, they're across the road, probably 700 to 800 feet south of the first gravel road. We have some discussions on the amount of clay that they're getting rid of.
Yeah, 'cause they're replacing that with rock.
Yeah, so there's a lot of clay now, but what they did north of the gravel road looks good. But what I'm toying with is, okay, if we're not gonna make you haul off a lot of clay, how about you putting in, clean area water drains where we need them because of the rise of the soil over the trench? They're taking a wide area out, wasting the clay, putting the 18 inches to 2 feet of black dirt over the top. So it ends up, it's a hump, and we have it specified no more than 12 inches higher than the natural ground anywhere in that. So we're gonna be trying to work that out this week. I talked to Ben Lutz, he's got 2 places we can stockpile clay.
That's what I was wondering.
Yep, one just east of Livermore and one a little closer, he said. So we're trying to get that worked out this week. We've told him, don't do any more black dirt replacement until we get this worked out this week.
How about any of the local landowners?
I've...
Landowners usually like clay too.
Yeah, anybody that wants to do a driveway.
Before I leave town, I'm gonna talk to Dave Huntermart. I got a number for Joel, the tenant for, Carmen Jensen. And I was on my list to talk to Ben on sites available. So, I'm hoping we end up with 3 or 4 sites they can maybe waste some material. Some of these areas are low spots, if they strip the topsoil, put clay on, and put the topsoil back, they'd work out fine too, but it couldn't be a wetland area. But other areas, we've done that in fields too, but
We got,
work it out with the landowners.
do we have boxes going up in that area? Or is it
There
bridges?
might
I think
be,
there might be one.
Might be.
I don't know, might be a bridge.
Yeah, that's why Ben says that he has a couple of places stockpile it, 'cause they have some, use for some every year.
Well, we have a hard time keeping clay, 'cause the
Clay
Yeah,
packs.
sometimes it's more
Quicker.
preferable for those
Oh,
projects.
packs so much better.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, anything that's structural, yeah, they love it, so we'll get that worked out this week yet.
You can haul it down to my place, I'll take some.
Yeah, you ask around, yeah, distance is not a problem, you can find the site, so. D 35 branch C, King out there, they're probably 300 feet south of the gravel road. Some landowner concern on placement of intake, we're placing the large intake just north of the gravel road. We're getting a price to put a smaller one south of the gravel road to pick up some of the leftover water that's gonna get through the road. And they've got a detail on how it has to be built. I'm speculating, because I didn't go out in the field and talk to them, but I'm sure that they wanna get that gravel road done before we get the really cold weather, 'cause then they can keep going.
Yeah.
It's a little tricky going through the road with frozen ground, and the high of, what was the high?
20s.
Yeah, low of like 13 or 17 towards the end of this week, so it's gonna at least get a crust of frost on the top.
Right.
So we'll be talking to him. Jordan's probably out there by now. We're trying to get him there in time to cover everything, but not leave really early to have excessive hours. So they're gonna keep working as long as they can, and we'll just keep you informed on progress.
Good plan.
How about on the other thing, on the sub-5 of 11, the intake situation?
Got through all that with the contractor, with landowners.
Good with that?
Yeah.
Haven't heard anything from anybody. You know, we've had this extensive discussion. That's good, everything in place with that?
And they've ordered them, and most of them are there already, on site. There's 3 or 4 locations where we're actually going into a low area with it, and I'm leaving it up to Jordan and the contractor to decide which way to aim it, which side should we have it aimed at to do the most good. But we got the location, it's just a little matter of rotation in the hole to make sure you serve the area the best you can. So, it's hard to tell from a drawing, even with LiDAR, exactly where you should put it, so.
Good.
And some of these, all of the intakes are made with a T so that they can extend a tile from there if they want to. So, I think we've got them all covered.
Good.
So,
Okay.
We go out of range?
Second.
Motion and second to go out of drainage, all in favor?
Aye.
So the same sign, we're out at, motion to go out. Peggy doesn't need to come back.
Something to think about, at the animal building. The other night, we talked about, or a week ago, I forgot to bring this up last week, we'd like to get a universal, animal ordinance, control ordinance for the whole county and all the entities. Here is Humboldt's, and, any of them gets picked up at large. I think it's $50 for the first time, and then it goes up to like $100. I think Bradgate and Hardy is gonna adopt this, I don't know the others. So, we'd like to get the same thing, so we get the same uniform into the, if somebody in one of the other counties or other entities in the county get a dog picked up, we can get charged on them. So, it's something to put,
Okay.
we need to get it generalized or get it on the agenda, or see what we wanna do with it.
All right.
Another thing on the back burner, we need to get to work on our zoning application too. And as Brian brought to us once, our zoning ordinances are, don't be desired as far as the county goes. We need to make a lot of changes there, at least pay the bill for the,
Yeah, so it pays,
I'm in the
pays the
position.
cost of
Right.
having the guy do it.
we're in a bad hurt right now. We need to get that on the agenda to do something.
Well,
Once
we
we
aren't
get a
gonna
zoning
do anything
director,
until we
get a
get
director.
someone hired.
Yeah.
And we did get the notice out there for it.
No, she's had it in the paper for, is it 2 weeks now?
I think so.
Should be.
I got a couple quick things. Bruce, you, just follow up on that grant thing. You discussed that a week or two ago, the $1,000 grant. Was that?
Yeah.
Peggy said she would take care of the application. She had that email and she would take care of it. I'll
Thank you,
check with
Dan.
her.
So that one, just to double check, I thought we moved forward where we needed to be with that. And secondly, we know we've discussed this too with our right-of-way weed control, with our Andon Reefer and B&W company. We don't technically have a weed commissioner, and there's a weed commissioner's report.
We did. It was the engineer when Paul was here, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And want to put any more on myself, but Don is so good to work with. This is just strictly a formality.
You just gotta have a title.
It needs to come from the county. I mean, if you notice, this is information that Don sent to us, and it spells out what they did, which we already know what they did.
So you're volunteering?
I would do it because, and I'll tell you why, because of what I just said, Don is so good to work with. If there's any questions, it's really, it doesn't take up, this takes up less time than the discussion of weeds that we
Yeah.
continually have with him. And there is precedent, there's other county supervisors, Don works with a couple of them.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong
You
with
do a
it.
good job, but
I think you just
Well,
got yourself a job.
I got two things,
Yeah.
weeds and beavers. So, and I don't know if anything past that, but, and it's just to
Bounty on
put,
beavers.
what's that?
What's the bounty on beavers?
$50.
Is it that high now?
But it has to be a work order.
Work order drainage
Yeah.
district, not,
River.
not your general beaver trapping.
Not Des Moines River beaver.
And everybody's pretty good about that, 'cause we talked about all this work order stuff. There again, somebody calls you and says, hey, Rick, I got a huge beaver dam, there's gotta be a bunch of beavers around here. You better go look and see where the beaver dam is.
Yeah.
Beaver Dam?
And we tell them, hey, like your tile, I'm afraid that's your creek, not a drainage ditch.
Yeah.
So you can trap the heck out of them, but there's no bounty on
What's
it.
that?
So anyway, I don't know if you gotta officially tell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
We're gonna
it'll be
get-
on next week's
We might even
agenda.
get you a badge.
I don't know if I want that.
We met.
I get more stuff on weeds, but Don is, and like I said, I wanna put the thumbs up is to Don to make this so easy to work with. Because he said, I'm gonna send this report to you, which he did, but he said, you guys don't have a weed commissioner, and he can't be the weed
You
commissioner.
gotta know what a noxious weed is.
And I am pretty familiar with weeds, because I spray them all the time. So, it's more of a technicality, and it's the fact that we know that we're working with Don, and it looks like we're gonna continue to work with him.
I would move, you go ahead and let Eric do the weed commissioner work, and with that, I say I move to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn.
One more thing,
Nope.
up there on that hog confinement. When they built the confinement, they interrupted the flow of water.
Surface water?
Surface water. And it's flooding out 3 fields, or 2 fields. And they would like to put an intake. There's a county tile,
150?
no, it's 130 feet, I think it is, from that building. They would like to put an intake over by that tile. They'll have to put in, what do we figure, about 100 feet of tile, 24 inch. And go over there and dump on the top of it. It's a 36 inch
Bare
tile.
minimum 36 inch right there.
36 inch,
And
it's
it's
about
fairly
11
deep.
foot deep, so there would be no problem, but they would want our blessings to dump into there.
The hog people, I mean.
Well, they're not dumping their into it.
No, it's
They're straight in that corner of the property where it's flooding out 2 fields.
Which one are you talking about?
It's the tri-site in Avery Township on Birch Avenue.
Up south of,
Okay.
Ben's.
Ben's is, yeah.
Ben's is one of the fields that's flooding out.
Okay.
It's slowing down the surface water.
They will pay for the whole thing.
That's
No, he's
They just need,
Well,
they just need our
off-site would
blessing.
be paying.
This is, yeah,
I was
this is
looking to
not
pay
gonna
for
get
it.
assessed back to the
They
drainage.
will hire the
district.
contractor and everything.
They're gonna put in their own intake.
No reason to
Just
stop
like the
them.
landowner. So it's not gonna be a
Sounds good,
drainage
so.
district structure.
But we
As
want
long as they're willing to do it, I guess I don't have a problem with it.
to make sure we get their blessing on it.
No, Dave was very adamant,
We probably need to get that in minutes sometime.
just so you know,
Get back to Honda.
when we looked at it, and we both were, but Dave was very adamant, they have, because this is per the construction plans of hog sites, there's a tile all the way around the site.
Their building.
And it
That's
dumps,
DNR.
and it dumps out where we can see it. And Dave, like I said, was very adamant that we do not, they can, but we don't want them to hook that into the tile system. We want to maintain it.
DNR tells them they have to put a tile around the building. They can either dump it on the ground, dump it in a ditch, or dump it into a tile. And I says, you're not dumping it into the tile. You will leave at least 30 feet buffer. So we know from where you're draining out of the building, your sumps, to where your intake is to drain this corner, that we have at least 30 feet in there, that we've got grass growing, so if you have a leak, it's gonna change the color of that grass, we're gonna know it. So they agreed to maintain 30 feet and put the intake in there. The landowner was there at the time, and he thought that would be a good deal to get that drained.
Well, as per most of those pits, you don't have water or stuff leaking out most of the time.
Leaking
It's
in.
the water going
Yeah.
in the
That's why they
pit.
require that to stick to,
Biggest issue, 'cause you put
stabilize
water
the
or
water
a
pressure
pit,
around it.
it'll go into it.
Yeah.
I'm good with that, we can get that on
Need to get that recorded.
the recorded, right?
Okay. That's all I have.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Eric, are you, Carl, are you motion?
Go ahead, Dave.
And a
I'll
second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion carries.